I'm Carola Gomez Rodriguez, and I work at the University of Santiago de Compostela in Spain. I study biodiversity patterns at different spatial and phylogenetic scales, and I am mostly interested in processes that play out over long temporal scales, like historical dispersal limitation. Why dispersal? Well, dispersal is a key macroecological process, but we know very little about the dispersal abilities of many biological groups, like invertebrates. So what I have been doing lately is searching for legacies of past climate change in present-day biodiversity patterns. And this has a clear applied interest, because if we are able to identify the taxa that have a stronger signature of incomplete post-glacial recolonization, then we will be looking at the taxa that are more vulnerable to current climate change. Because if they were not able to track their climate in the past, what are the chances that they would do it now? I have been invited to WISE to talk about maternity. I have 2 girls, I'm a mom, but I am also one of the co-founders of Madres PDV, a group of Spanish postdocs, Spanish moms who study biodiversity. We made this group a couple of years ago because we were concerned about the impact that maternity has on women's careers. As you all probably know, many women leave academia after their first child. So this means that the formation of a family is one of the main reasons of the lower proportion of women in academia. So the key question is, why does the formation of a family affect women so much? And if we can do something to help it. Well, the reasons, the arguments are very obvious for most people, but even so, we have to repeat them again and again, because the truth is that many institutions, many public bodies, many researchers are just ignoring them. So what I am going to say today is kind of a personal view. It does not apply to every single woman, but it applies to many of us. The first biological argument is that we cannot delay having kids forever. This is just a biological reality, and it shouldn't be much of a problem if it wasn't coupled with another bigger structural problem in some countries, mostly those with lower funding, like Spain, the country I work and live. This structural problem is the late age at which researchers get a permanent position, or at least some sort of professional security. And what I'm talking about is having huge professional uncertainty until you are in your early or mid-40s. And as we can all understand, this may be too late for many women to start a family. The other main biological argument is pretty obvious too, and is that we are the ones who get pregnant, who breastfeed, who are in charge of some of the early baby care. And fathers cannot do it. Even if they would love to, they just can't. So this means that even if we can, and we should demand or ask for equal responsibility in raising a child, there are some aspects of parenthood that are exclusive to moms, and they require huge energy and time investment. Again, this shouldn't be a big problem, because if you think about the long term, if you think about a person with a 40-year career, would it really matter if in her 30s she had a short period of lower scientific productivity? No, it would be totally irrelevant. The problem is that many women do not get to have this long career, because this biological reality occurs at the same time as our careers are quite vulnerable, because we may have short periods of funding, like short postdocs, a couple of years of postdocs, and we are also going through very competitive evaluations. And the people who are looking at our CVs, the people who are deciding if we have done enough in our career or how we have done it. They are just not taking this into account. And this is when the problem comes. And this is when women leave academia. Or, as we like to say, this is the moment when many women are shown the exit door of academia. I would like to stress something. This short period of lower scientific productivity does not occur to every woman. Okay? We will always see women who have not had it, and that is fantastic. That is great. But we should not let this to turn into an argument against other academic moms, in the sense that some people may argue, like, if she could do it, why cannot you do it? So that is a problem. And yeah, it's dangerous. So we have to be very careful about that. But maternity is not the only factor affecting the lower proportion of women in academia. We could kind of make two very broad categories. It would be, on one side, the factors that we can somehow control, or try to control at least, and on the other side, it would be the ones that are not under our control or that we can do very little about them. In the first category, we have those big or small things that each of us can do to increase our chances of having a successful career. And they are related to our personal decisions, to how we see ourselves, to how we fear, how we face our fears, our insecurities. And this is why it's very important to have all these initiatives about inspiring women, about women in science, because it's really, really good and really helpful to see how other women are doing. It's good to have clear references, but it is not enough, because, as I have said, there are other factors that are out of our control and are also driving this lower proportion of women in academia. One is maternity. I have talked a lot about it. And the other one is that we cannot control how other people see us. What I am talking about is the famous unconscious gender bias. This bias is related to the fact that female scientists do not look as good as male scientists in the eyes of their peers. And their peers can be men or women, because women have unconscious gender bias too. So this is why it's very important to be aware of our own biases before we make decisions that may affect other people's lives. So with all these things in mind, more or less, we decided to start this group, this community, Madres PDV. Please have a look at the webpage and my colleagues' CVs and histories. They are really, really nice. So we started this community, and we have some wishes, some recommendations. First, it is what we call the let's wear purple glasses, everyone. Purple glasses on, please. And it's just saying that we have to get rid of this unconscious gender bias, and we have to do it as soon as possible. Another important issue is that we think that maternity should be taken into account when you evaluate CVs. And we also want to stress that the impact of fatherhood, of being a father, having a kid, raising a kid, should also be accounted for, but it's not the same. And you may think, why is Carola talking about this if it is so obvious? Well, because it is not. It is not so obvious, at least for the Spanish government. The Spanish government, in its human resources programs, in its fellowships, applies the same criteria to moms and to dads. And the fact that it applies these compensation measures in an equal way means that it is just not taking in maternity into account. It is a clear example of an institution, a government, that it is ignoring the effect of maternity on women's lives. Because if you think that having a kid has the same impact on a man's and on a woman's career, you're just not accounting for it. Another important issue is regarding the 50-50 balance. This 50-50 balance kind of assumes that if we have the same number of women and the same number of men in evaluation panels or in other bodies that are taking decisions, important decisions, the problem of women underrepresentation in academia would be kind of solved by itself in an easy way. And that is just not true. It is not true, first, because women have unconscious gender bias too, as I have said. This bias is against other women, okay? And second, because some women suffer what it is called the survivorship bias. This bias affects people, in this case women, who have succeeded in a world where many other women fail, and they kind of have the feeling that if they were able to make it, everybody could make it. It should be easy. If it was easy for me, or well, not easy, but if I was able to do it, why can't the rest do it? They should be able, like I did. So this is our problem. And this is why it is legitimate to ask for a 50-50 balance in all aspects of academia, in all relevant aspects of academia, mostly those regarding career development. We also have like easier wishes, like those about making things easy for moms or for moms and for dads, like having childcare or nurseries or the time at which meetings are scheduled. So those are easy things to do, and they will make things easy for moms and for dads. And we can also ask for specific hiring programs for moms or for people who with long career breaks. So this is it. These are our wishes. This is what we ask. And we ask you as part of the academia, because we cannot fix the problem alone. We need everybody to be involved in this, because after all, what we have to decide is if we want an academia in which the underrepresentation of women is not a problem, or an academia in which this problem does not exist. I want the second one. And you? Thank you.